So then I began wondering about the deeply entrenched ruts that I formed in my brain. And honestly, this is really embarrassing to admit. But my first thought was, I don't know if I have any. So apparently denial and pride are my top two. But that instinctive first response of denial to my own question caught my attention. For I immediately recognized it to be a protective response, a byproduct of one of my most deeply entrenched ruts, one that I've wrestled with literally my entire life, and that's my need for control, which actually is not a rut. It's just a layer of self-protective armor lying firmly on top of the rut, like an asphalt patch, falsely insulating what lies beneath. And that real rut is fear. For me, a powerful lie of the enemy is the rut of fear. And here's how it's played out for me my entire life. As a little girl, my world was altered at age 3 when my parents' marriage ended. Now, if you asked me to reflect on my life, and people did all throughout my life at every age, I would say that my parents' divorce really didn't affect me all that negatively. For because of the incredible parenting by my dad and the co-parenting of my grandparents, I had the most amazing childhood. In fact, both my brother and I would say that we never felt like we actually came from a divorced family at all, truly. We both found Jesus at a young age. Ministry life was a part of our family culture, and we were championed and released to be all that God created us to be. But here's how it actually did play out for me. As a young girl, maybe even at the age of 3, when I couldn't articulate what I was feeling because my mom left, and even more so as an elementary kid when feeling out of place or alone, I began to create neural pathways in my brain. I didn't know it yet, but that's what I was doing. They became ruts, so that when I felt fear, I would counter it. I would self-protect myself by being in control. See, I learned, and my mind reinforced this belief over and over again, that if I was in control, then fear couldn't get to or control me, which worked pretty well for me, I thought, over the years. I excelled in sports, school, leadership. I picked things that I knew I was naturally good at, and I excelled at them. In dating, no guy ever broke up with me. I always did it first. I focused on things that I was good at. I not only worked hard to win, but undergirding it all was the motivation to avoid the fear of failing, the fear of being abandoned or alone, the fear of not being worthy, fear of not being in control. So I had to stay in control, order my world all around me by staying in control. Because if I didn't, then I would have to face the fear that undergirded it all. My late husband, Paul, in the early years of our marriage, was the first to discover this, and he helped me face and unpack the fortress of control that I had built around my heart and my mind to protect it, protecting those deep ruts that now the enemy was reinforcing with his lies so effectively. And with Jesus' help, I gained a lot of ground. It wasn't a blind spot for me anymore. It allowed me to have deep, meaningful, transparent relationships, to be seen and fully known. God did some powerful freeing work in my younger years, which I am so grateful for. But guess when fear really began to effectively lose its grip in my heart and mind? It actually was just in the most recent years of my life. When life all came crumbling down, when I couldn't control all the things anymore, in fact, not even close, life was spiraling out of control. When I couldn't affect the outcome, and when God didn't seem to answer my prayers the way I thought he should or could, when addiction invaded our family, when parenting on many fronts became incredibly difficult and overwhelming, when ministry became messy and work-life balance got out of focus, when battling for my husband's life turned into 8 years of facing my deepest fear literally every day that a blood clot could take him, that he could die any moment. 8 years, guys, of this every day, every moment. And eventually, he did. I would say that that is a really deeply forged rut of fear with the real potential of losing the war in my mind. Wouldn't you? One of the campus safety guys on our team came up to me just a few weeks ago out in the Commons. The doors weren't open yet, people hadn't started coming, and he just walked over to me and he said, Amy, I gotta ask you something. How do you do it? How are you so strong and so joyful and so faith-filled all the time? And I'm pretty sure I laughed out loud at him, which was kind of rude. But I think it's because I don't really see what he sees, because I know what's in here. I know the eternal battle that's waged within me all these years. But standing out there in the Commons, just kind of facing this question that he had right here, right in the raw of the moment, I began reflecting on all that God's done in me, releasing me of my fear. And I immediately knew the answer to his question. So I just said it. I said, it is simply and only because of Jesus. He met me right there in the depths when I couldn't fix it or out-strategize it or control any of it. He was right there. He was holding me and helping me face it, not run from it, but face it. It is because of the power of his word. When we create a daily habit, day after day, year after year, that literally renews the ruts of our minds, forging a truth trench, his word at work in us. It's the power of the Holy Spirit bringing to life his word, taking it to the recesses of my heart and mind, but then saturating literally the depths of my soul, bringing to life what was dead, what was lost, what was so afraid, and what was so not in control. Simply Jesus. Ruminate, digest, repeat. Ruminate, digest, repeat. And go ahead, have it out with God while you're at it. Cry some, swear some, it helps. But ruminate, digest, repeat. I want to say this too. It's important that I tell you this. I am still very much in process. I'm a dramatic mess at times. In fact, ask my closest people, they'll tell you. But I am a mess that is continually being freed up. And it's a process every day. I'm a new creation, and so are you. I'm fully alive, and so you can be. Not just walking around with a gritting my teeth trying to choose joy kind of joy, but really experiencing to the depths of my soul kind of joy. Fear doesn't rule me anymore. And believe me, it was a huge rut in my mind. I have been through the worst that I could actually imagine in my mind, and fear didn't win. Jesus did. And not only am I choosing joy, but I'm experiencing it this side of heaven, and I can't wait to get there and tell Paul all about it. It takes courage to face it. For you to create a new trench of truth and continual daily rumination and renewal. It's every day, guys. But it's possible. You can do this. I'm living proof. I'm not just up here being paid to deliver you some message. In fact, it's my birthday, guys. I could be anywhere else. But I'm here to deliver the message, right? The good news of what is possible in Jesus, and he wants this for you. It's possible to win the war in your mind with Jesus. Philippians 4:8. And now, dear brothers and sisters, one final thing. Fix your thoughts on what is true and honorable and right and pure and lovely and admirable. Think about these things that are excellent and worthy of praise.